welcome back to South by Southwest Live. I'm Gavin Stone, and I'm joined by
Chris-Rachael Osland, as always, and
David Marshall.
And his film is Beginning at the End.
Beginning with the End.
Beginning with the End. All right, so let's tell everyone that's watching and listening, what is Beginning with the End?
Basically, it's the story of a group of high school students who take a class on hospice care, and they are invited to work with people who are at the end of life. And in essence, it's the story of learning what meaning you can find in life. So in the process, these young people discover that the things that you really need to value are things that are not monetary. They're about, people and who loves you and who you love. And that's really what this story's about.
That is such an influential age for something like that as well, because I feel like from everyone else in the world, they're being told, you need to think about your job, you need to think about money, you need to think about your career, getting a house, getting a car, getting married, all of that, and not what are you going to care about? What are you going to come to the end and really, really care about? Right,
and I think that part of the reason that I made this film is that we're not spending very much time teaching empathy. And it's a value that we need to bring back into education. So really this is, in many ways this is an educational film. It's designed to look at empathy and the value of empathy as part of an educational curriculum.
When you bring up the idea of teaching empathy again, it's something that's lost. Do you kind of equate that to the fact that people look at our youth today as a complete waste? There is a stereotypical thing about that where they're saying, our youth they don't have the attention spans.
The Greeks said that.
They don't have any of the things.
Well, I think, I can tell you that we originally were filming for a year, and we were having such a good time filming this that we spent 2 years doing it. The students that we worked with were brilliant, fun, pleasant, and incredibly capable. That's what you come away with, is that this whole experience, in working with people who are at the end of life it can be a fun and enlivening experience, and that's what they got out of this. And so, for us as filmmakers, it was just wonderful because we had kind of, some preconceived notions about what we were going to be doing. And what you discovered is that this is a place of great joy and great comfort, and the kids were just so capable. And that's what we came away with.
So I'm fascinated that this is a part of a high school program. Were these kids, were they in trouble? Because when you hear about kids in a hospice, it's usually, we're going to scare them straight or something along those lines.
No. This was an elective class. And in the senior class that I was following, every student in the senior class took this class. Really, this is brilliant teaching. The teacher who we follow is kind of our main thread in the story, is an absolutely brilliant teacher who moves these young people along in a way that allows them to really grasp these concepts and these meanings and bring them into themselves. And it's just a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to watch. Because I'm not a 50-year-old guy. I don't really get to spend much time with young people. But for me, they were just, like those two young men who were here just now.
Yeah.
Wonderful, competent, incredibly articulate, and so able to take on whatever you give them. You put them into a situation, you give them love, give them, hope, and so forth. They can do this, and that's what I hope people come away with understanding about my film.
Now, you said that you also gave the kids cameras themselves, which kind of made them into filmmakers in an impromptu way. What was that like, and what did they do with them?
Well, it was actually my associate producer, that was her idea, that we give them cameras. And initially I was thinking, it's going to be unusable footage and it's going to be a lot to work through and so forth. But what it really did was it made them partners in this with us. So they became, in many ways, kind of, they were vested in this project then because they had the cameras. And what we've discovered is the footage was their own view of themselves. And when I come in with my camera, they present themselves in a particular way. But when they're on their own or with their friends, they present themselves in a very different way.
Now, out of curiosity, was this like an iPhone camera or a GoPro?
These are little Sony cameras. Okay. We bought like 6 of them and gave them to each of the kids. And then
because I found the less obtrusive a camera is, the more realistic and personal people tend to be when interviewing them.
What they did with the cameras is they sort of followed their own lives. So after they were doing maybe a hospice shift, they would talk about it, or they would go to a concert or something. They'd bring the camera, so you got more of a flavor of the complete person. That was the idea behind the cameras, because I didn't want you to think that these kids were special in some way or sort of uniquely gifted. They're not. They're very average, wonderful, just young people.
And you say average and wonderful in a good way, not like they're just average.
Well, no, but they're like anybody can do this. Is my point. You don't have to be something special.
So, at the end of the day of making this film, what was your favorite story that was discovered during it?
Let's see. I mean, I met so many wonderful people. I suppose the thing that I think was, kind of most important for me as a filmmaker is that this was not something that was hard for these young people to do. Nobody failed at this. We sort of came into this thinking, well, we'll follow these young people, and some of them will be able to do this, and others won't. This will be too much. It'll be too complicated. What we discovered really was that everybody was capable, and no matter how they stratified themselves in school, the different kind of groups that they click with, in this moment when they were asked to be caregivers, they all could do it, and they all were gifted, and it didn't matter if they were the boys or the girls or how they saw themselves. Everybody was capable, and that was wonderful to see.
We're having kids later and later in life. Did a lot of these children have grandparents that they'd seen through that, or for some of them, was this the first time they'd seen actual elders at that stage?
I think that it's a mixed bag, really. I mean, some of them had, but for most of them, they'd been protected, like we have kind of protected ourselves from death in many ways. We've sort of institutionalized death, moved away. So for a lot of them, this was the first time that they were up close with people who were moving through this end-of-life process, for almost all of them.
At the beginning, were they scared of it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, everybody was talking about, will I do something wrong? Will I hurt somebody? Will I say the wrong thing? I mean, everybody really began with a lot of trepidation about being in this program.
And how long did it take for them to relax and start enjoying it?
As soon as you touch somebody, everything changes. As soon as they had some physical contact, everything changed, but in a nice way.
And that goes back to the importance of touch. I don't think I'd have the patience to deal with a hospice, and that's just me. So I totally applaud these kids that are doing it because they want to do it.
But isn't part of the point of this that everybody goes into it thinking, I can't do this. This is something I'm just not going to be able to handle. And then within, what was it, a few days?
Well, I mean, it was a bit of a process. But one of the other things, too, is that you're learning to be in the moment, to be present, and to stop for a bit and reflect. So that's part of what this is, too, for these young people, is that everything doesn't have to be moving forward at this incredible rate. You can sit and be quiet, and that's enough. Just being present can be enough. And for them, they found that the class and being in the comfort care homes was really a place where they got away from all the sort of trials of the day.
Did they do things like have to turn off their cell phones or leave them away?
They
or
just
something
did
like
it.
That?
You just find that you naturally
you didn't actually
do
have
it.
to tell them to.
Nobody, no.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they were so capable. I mean, I can't tell you how wonderful for me to watch this unfold and to see these people just grow, and they could figure out themselves that the values that they're taking into life should be human values. They should be connected values, and that was great. That was really fun.
I love stories like this where
too.
it's about, where in all seriousness though, it's about how human we all are, because I feel like these days we're very separated generationally. So you hang out with the people that you went to high school or college with, and then you age with them. There aren't a lot of communities that are mixed age anymore. So when you throw people in there that are like, oh, I'm going to be that one of these days.
That's such a good point. Because, I mean, also the great gift is that the older people who are in hospice love having young people around. They just loved it. For them, it was great to find out what's going on in high school, what courses are you taking. It brought so much life to them. Everybody wins. Yeah. Everybody wins in this.
So where can people see this film at South by Southwest?
It's going to be playing at what's the name of the place? Riverside? Stateside. Sorry, Stateside on Monday at 11.
Has anyone seen it yet?
The kids have seen it. The students
were they really
have seen
excited?
It. They were very excited. They all were talking about well, I look a little pimply.
There's nothing you can do about that at that age.
Yeah. But other than that, they were all very happy, and the parents were happy, and a lot of the people whose family had passed, they came. Their family members came to see the film, and that was really fun for me to see how they reacted to the film.
So, is there any chance of distribution yet?
Well, we have people looking at that, so we're hoping. Keep knock on wood, and hopefully
let
it works
us
out.
know when you do, because I would love to be able to pimp this out. I think it's a fantastic sounding film for people to watch.
Thank you very much. It's a great film. Yeah.
So have a great time at South by Southwest. I hope everybody is as moved by your film as you've made us just by talking about it.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully this will get a bigger, wider distribution.
Thank you.
It sounds amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, please, everyone come see my film.
Have a great time.
Thank you very much.